Happy Veterans Day. Thanks for doing this so short notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking me. Yeah, it's been good. Just worked and went and grabbed myself a coffee as well, and that's been pretty much my day.
My company doesn't give us that day off,
Mm-hmm.
today off, but my customer is the government, so they don't work, so we have
Yeah.
to kind of force to take PTO.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Well,
Yeah.
I was fine with it. I
Yeah.
had the time, so
Right.
um,
I own my
but
own business, so I can choose if clients want to see me, then I do it, and if not, then I take the day off. So it just kind of depends. I take Thanksgiving and Christmas off, but other than that, I'm usually working.
yeah, oh, nice. Um, and in between, you're doing interviews for Metal Nation.
Oh my gosh, so many lately. I overwhelmed myself. I finally have gotten to a point because it's been pretty much nonstop the past 3 to 4 weeks. Because a lot of the local scene now, I've been doing. And so I finally was like, I gotta take a breather. I still have so many that I have to get out, and I have more that I have booked already. So I'm like, I gotta slow down.
Yeah, well, it can be overwhelming.
Totally.
I haven't been very busy. I haven't been that busy lately. It's picking up a little bit. But I usually have at least one a week. There's normally never a week that goes by where I don't have one, but I get the feeling you have like way more than one.
It depends. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go a few weeks without having
Mhm.
one, and then other times I'll have 5 in 1 week, which is stupid. I used to not overbook myself like that because I obviously want to do research in between time, and then I just feel crazy, and I'm trying to keep everything straight and all the details straight because as you've seen with the interviews, I don't do like rigid questions. I don't write questions down. I write little notes. And
Mhm.
I usually just kind of go with the flow of the conversation and off of memory. And so if I'm doing a whole bunch back to back, my memory gets a little fuzzy.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, how long you been playing in Mastodon? But you're talking to Kirk Hammett.
Right? It's like yeah, that's where hopefully they'll pull a Courtney LaPlante and act like, oh yeah, so I've been with them for 20 years. Like, I don't know if you saw that whole thing where they mistook her for Poppy. And
Oh,
she just went with it. I loved it. Her response is she tries to correct the lady at first, and the lady just like powers over her, and so
oh,
she's just like,
really?
"Yep, I'm Poppy." It's
I
so
missed
funny.
that, but that's
Oh,
funny.
it's so funny. She just leans right into it.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, well, you know who writes questions ahead of time for interviews? Nerds.
Well,
Um,
I get it. I mean, like, I think it just depends on the different personality. I'm a I'm an introverted person, but I'm also a people person, and so I'm a mental health therapist outside of that, and so I talk to people all the time, and so it's not, and I don't get intimidated anymore like I used to in the beginning, and so it's easy just to have those natural conversations where I think some people feel like it's maybe easier for them to do the structured questions.
yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and I'm kind of joking. I've done both. If it's a big one or if it's, my guests are kind of all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out what this channel's about. But I have people that like have written books about politics to, the holy grail of interviews for me, which was Bill Kelleher. Bill
Yeah,
Kelleher at Mastodon. For him, I definitely had something to reference in case I got nervous,
yeah.
because I thought I might, and strangely I didn't get nervous with him. But I don't like, I'll do the notes thing sometimes too, but what I enjoy it, why I do it, and what's really so much fun about it is just kind of seeing where it goes,
Yeah,
and the notes should be there, I guess. I guess I have
like a
been.
reference.
Yeah, reference if things get
Mhm.
awkward or slow or
Yeah.
something, for sure. And I definitely had no notes and had some of those moments.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely have to have notes just so that way I have, like I'll have talking points if it does come to that, but I'll watch I interviews if they're people who have been interviewed before, which the majority of them are. I'll watch interviews that they've done before to get a feel for their personality, so that
yeah,
way I know if they're a talker or if they're not a talker, because that makes a big difference. I'll need more notes if they're not talkers. If they are talkers, then I'll need less notes because I
yeah,
know they're gonna take up the time without me even being able to get to much of the stuff I want to ask.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, uh, Gene Hoglan, which was one of my more recent ones.
Mm.
He is a talker, and he only had a short period of time because they were on tour and they were getting ready to do sound check. And I had so much I wanted to ask him, but I didn't get to hardly anything because he
Yeah.
is a
Oh yeah,
talker.
that's another interesting one. Where you can't get a word in, but you're so curious. Yeah, and you have limited time. That's funny. The and I'm just amazed and impressed with like the big names that you get. I have to confess too, I'm a metal. I consider myself a metalhead, but it's pretty narrow to
Mhm.
like, your obvious ones for a guy my age, I guess. The big four, Megadeth, Metallica, Mastodon crept in there, and became my almost an obsession because I love it so much, their music. And there might be some onesie twosies of big names here and there, but the rest of my focus has been, and it's been a real fun journey, but like on that local, kind of a local Atlanta scene.
Yeah.
Um, but with all your guests, and I know you focus locally too, but with the big ones, are you fans usually of who you're talking to, or is that kind of vary
It
from?
varies. So it's been an interesting journey. The local part of things is just a new thing. There's only been one local band that I've done, and that was probably 2-ish years ago. Weirdly, usually when I would reach out to the local bands, they would be like, "Yeah, absolutely," and then that would be it. It would never go anywhere. And so I ended up kind of collabing with a dude that promotes in our area, and he got the ball rolling so quickly that now it's out of control. So if I joke that I apparently needed some testosterone to get things going because for whatever reason they were not wanting to do it with me. I don't know, super weird, but as far as so when I had started doing stuff with Metal Nation before I owned it, I one of my friends and a dude in Canada were the owners, and he was just like, "Hey, would you want to start doing some like album reviews and stuff for this website?" And he knows how much I love music. I enjoy writing, and so I was like, "Absolutely." So at that point, it was more the niche of what I can't do a review if it's a an album I don't like that
Yeah,
I can't do. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna talk negatively about someone's baby,
yeah,
and their soul and their everything that they put into this. And I'm not going to be like, this is crap. I don't like negative reviews, but I also can't be fake and write a super positive emotional review with something that I don't like. So as far as the album reviews, I was very picky, but I became more and more knowledgeable about genres that I normally didn't listen to or didn't like before. And so it really expanded my my musical horizons. And when I started doing interviews, I started them with people that I was comfortable with. So like Derek Kurzweil, I'd become friends with when he was playing with Seamless, when Jesse Leach's band Seamless before
mhm,
he got back with Killswitch. And so Derek and I had become friends through at the show and then through social media. And he had a band called Downpour that was him, Matt LeBrayton, who is in a band called Living Wreckage with Jonathan Donay from Anthrax,
mm,
and Brian Fair from Shadows Fall. So it was a band called Downpour, but I knew Derek and I met Mac through Derek. And so that was my first interview. It was a phone interview. So it was easy for me. They're chatty dudes. They're funny. So that was my first like experience, but I already was comfortable with Derek, so it was easy. And then I started doing interviews with Kyle Shutt because he also is a friend, as you know. And so he's been my guinea pig. Anytime I want to try something different, I text him and I'm like, hey, I have an idea. And he doesn't even ask what it is. He just automatically is like, yep, I'm in. Like, he's been so fantastic about being my guinea pig just throughout all of this process. But so then I did a interview with him, and again, I knew him, so it was much more comfortable. I started getting the owners. This is a super long story. I'm sorry. The owners, the owners ended up stepping down. I didn't want to stop, and so I took it over. And unfortunately, one of them has since passed. But and so then I started getting all of the promos because or my friend had sent all the PRs over to me. So I get a bajillion promos a day. But that's how I started getting connected more to some of these other artists with doing interviews. I did only phone interviews for a while. So when I interviewed Troy Sanders, this is kind of a funny story. Yeah. It was for the Kill or Be Killed album. And initially I was supposed to interview Ben from Converge. And I kind of was like, because it's, Max Cavalera, who doesn't love him, obviously Troy Sanders, Greg Fusiato from Dillinger Escape Plan, and then Ben from Converge. And Converge was the band that I knew the least amount about, but I was still like, yeah, this will be awesome. And at the day before, the PR lady was like, I'm so sorry, Ben can't do it. Is there any way you'd be okay with working with Troy instead? I was like, he would have been my number one out of all the four of them, even over Max, and it's Max.
Hey, the only reason I'm allowing myself to interrupt you real quick is for this.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
This is I don't know what you call it. Merman, Troyman, Troy.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I've done some investigative journalism and have not been able to crack the code on who made this drawing.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
It went Mastodon viral, let's say. And I had it printed out and I got him to sign it.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. That's hilarious.
I might put it on a hat.
You should. You totally should.
So they're like, oh, would you accept Troy Sanders?
Yeah, that's really like, she was like super apologetic about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess. So it ended up being a phone interview. We talked about The Reluctant Hero was the album that we were discussing. I got super emotional on it because that song just totally hits me. I still cry every time I hear that song.
Yeah.
And we did discuss because that song is very personal to him for people that he's lost in life. But he was like, I thought it was like a positive song, and I was all, dude, for you for writing it that way, but that is not that it's a negative song, but it's a sad song to me. Yeah. So it was really cool. He was very easy, very personable right off the bat. I was a little bit nervous because he was one of my first bigger ones. But when their personalities are so open and easy, you naturally, and that's probably the same with Bill, you naturally just relax.
They're good at ribbing you in a way, for Mastodon anyway, ribbing you in a way that makes you feel comfortable. I remember hanging out with Bill a little bit at a show before the show. And I was like, hey, did you do your guitar lessons today? He's like, yeah, where were you? Just like
taking a nap.
I was sleeping through my alarm.
Right.
Well, that's great. So, and I want to know, And how did you and Kyle become? Can I hear that story? How you and Kyle
Yeah.
Sharp became good friends?
So my very first sword show was $5 at this place in Boise. It's not even open anymore, called the Blues Bouquet. Me and Hendrix's dad, my first husband, were just walking. It was before Hendrix was born. But we were just walking downtown and we were like, oh, music, let's $5, let's go. We had no idea who they were. It was the Age of Winners tour, which is so
Oh
crazy.
wow!
Yeah. And so fell in love with them that day. And I can't remember if I don't think I met Kyle that time. I think I met him the second time. So the second time we saw him was seamless. It was $7. It's just gone up more and more and more than this last time is definitely a lot more than I've ever paid to see them, but so worth it every time. I think I've seen them like 8 or 9 times at this point, but the second or third time is when I had met Kyle. And it was just, obviously not just acquaintances, just kind of chatting. I was like, he's not gonna remember who I am, even though at that point they were still a smaller band. And then we had connected on social media. And at that point, Hendrix was just starting to get interested in guitar. And so Kyle and I had talked a little bit here and there. And so I asked if he would be willing to give Hendrix guitar lessons. So I started paying Kyle to give Hendrix guitar lessons. And that's where we really became better friends. He was going through a difficult time in his life at that point, and for whatever reason he was comfortable talking to me about what he had going on, and so we connected pretty strong through his tough times. And then when I went through my divorce last year, he was really good about reaching out and checking up on me too. So we just kind of over the years have blossomed a pretty cool friendship. And he's been super helpful for a lot of, like I said, new things that I want to try with Metal Nation.
That's awesome. Well, gosh, now we know why Hendrix is so good. I'm sure it's more than that, but
well, now over the last 2 years, he's been doing lessons with Ro Hayes from 12 Foot Ninja.
Oh, wow.
So on Sunday nights, now it's 7:30 because the time change. But it's 2:30 the next day in Australia, when they're doing lessons.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, this took a turn. Let me ask you this. I almost want to grab it. I bought his guitar.
Oh, fun.
I wasn't
the shark one.
It's the one he was selling because he invented this like brilliant, genius piece of technology. I'm looking at it right now. It's a Shuriken Variax is the name, but it enables you to have like download software and install it in you pretty into this already, but install it in your guitar, and you can like come up with the exact tones you want, and you can cut and paste different pickups in there. I have like a sitar mode. I have a drop C, drop D, drop whatever.
That's
drop
awesome.
A. And it's a great live instrument because it's just all right here. I don't even need like pedals really for it. And what was so my question, if you think of it, I don't know, no pressure here, but I think they don't sell them anymore, and so I can't upload the software anymore.
Oh,
yeah, so it might be
I'll ask him.
Maybe that's not a very interesting question to ask him, but I would be curious.
No, I'm sure he would be willing to give you at least some guidance if he obviously has to have the information, right?
Yeah, well, it's just kind of a bummer because it's I've been trying to find it and unable to update it. And I think it's because they're not selling them anymore, but it's a wicked looking guitar. It looks like an alien. And he's insane. He's insane.
Oh, he's so good. He has like Kyle really, really helped with a lot of like Hendrix's scales, a lot of just like the basics and some of the more advanced parts of the basics, like he always has been like a huge supporter of him too, because he could tell that Hendrix was catching on quick, and he was, he told me at one point, he's like, he falls in love with this, and his life's ruined. Like he almost was like, don't allow this to happen. And I'm like, his name is Hendrix, like I'm gonna allow this to happen, but so then when we connected with Ro, I had interviewed Stevik. I don't know if you know that, on their last album. Yeah, Stevik was one of my favorite interviews. He is so funny. Oh, he's so funny. But I can't even remember how I ended up connecting with Ro, because it wasn't really through Stevik. But I saw that he was doing guitar lessons, and so I had reached out to him as kind of the next level, knowing that this is what, like, Kyle was doing it for fun, where Ro does it for a living,
Yeah.
And so he has like a structured curriculum and everything, and he has helped Hendrix leaps and bounds. Like, he teaches him all different kinds that he makes them learn all different kinds and styles of music.
Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, Hendrix is in jazz band too, but and he did marching band this year, but he learns all different songs that normally Hendrix wouldn't, like listen to or learn how to play. And it's helped so much. He's an incredible teacher. I think at this point he probably has a wait list, but he's definitely someone that people should reach out to for guitar lessons, because he's just incredible.
That's
Plus,
great. Yeah,
he's an incredible player. Yeah.
yeah, he's insane. And Hendrix is insane. I watch all the videos you post of him, and it's funny. So I have to go and get to USPS. I might have put in a extra beanie in there for him. It's a bribe.
So nice.
It's a bribe, so that when he's big and famous, he'll come on Radical Metal.
Yes. I see it happening, like, not only because he does put in the time and the effort, he works very hard at it. He does catch on to it quick, but he also puts in a ton of time. He practices nonstop. So it's not like he's not like a prodigy, he puts in the time and effort.
Yeah.
But also, because of what I do, we have some pretty awesome connections. Rick Hunnell is a pretty good friend at this point from Exodus. He loves Hendrix, and it's just like anything that you need, So we've had Mike Spreitzer is a pretty good friend at this point that used to be with Devil Driver, and he has some sweet connections. So we have some people in our corner that are like very much like, Hendrix is gonna do this, and we want to help it, make it happen as best as we can. So
that's great. Yeah, I mean, how old is Hendrix?
17. He's a senior this year.
17. Yeah, his skills far exceed his age, I would say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I think I appreciate that he puts in the effort, and maybe has crossed over into obsession, which I agree is a good thing. But certainly some natural talent there too. Totally impressed. So that's awesome. Bravo. You're like the mom of the year, man.
Well, thank you. He just got on with a local band, because there's been local bands around here that have wanted to bring him on stage for different songs. So he's had some stage presence already for a few songs with some of the local bands at the Knitting Factory at like big venues, but he just was asked by this new band called Abandon in the Abyss. They're a deathcore band in our metal community in Boise is incredible. But they're like in their early 30s. And so the one of them actually reached out to me, and he was like, hey, so we want to bring Hendrix on if he's interested. Are you okay with that? And I was all, absolutely. Like, but what's funny about Hendrix is growing up, he hated metal. He wanted nothing. He didn't like concerts. He grew up, going to local shows and stuff. He hated it. He didn't like loud noises. He is still, but he was a big time Beatles fan. He liked like the softer rock, or just rock in general.
Like yacht rock?
Oh, what's that?
Like yacht rock?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, some kind of,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other bands that he was really into when he was younger. I mean, I have a Beatles tattoo for him, but he just wanted nothing to do with metal. And my whole world and his ex-stepdad's whole world, his ex-stepdad is in a metal band. Like our world is surrounded by metal, and
Yeah.
he was just like wanted nothing to do with it. And so I took him to a Clutch show, and that was the concert turnaround to where
Oh
he
wow.
loved it. And he doesn't even listen to Clutch that much, if at all anymore. But that was the turnaround as far as concerts. And then Unleash the Archers was kind of the gateway metal band, which is funny because now he's like Lorna Shore, Born of Osiris. Like he's gone so extreme into the other direction. And he's just like along the way, it's just been different levels. And it's so funny. So seeing him fall in love with metal has been hilarious too, because I thought my child is not going to be a metalhead. And I don't know how to process that.
Oh yeah. Well, I have my 6-year-old girl. She definitely doesn't like it. I tried. She likes some songs that we share, some Mastodon songs like Motherload and whatnot. But it kind of bums me out. But I'm like, that's fine, whatever. She can listen
She's
to
still
it.
young. It could turn around.
It can turn around, but she's definitely like in Swiftie territory at the moment.
Oh yeah,
and kind of a girly girl.
yeah.
But I was gonna say too, it's also like, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but a good time, back when I was 17, it was probably quite troublesome, and was quite troublesome to my parents, I think, that maybe going down that path with the guitar and stuff. Because back then it was like, it was really cool, like the whole drinking and drugs and metal and stuff. I feel like,
It's
I
not
feel
that
like
way
the younger
anymore.
bands, it's not,
No.
especially those really really mathematic or death metal, really complicated stuff. I feel like you see it less and less, if at all, sometimes. With
A lot of them are sober.
Yeah. Which is kind of awesome. I'm noticing that too. Covering Atlanta band. Actually, I quit drinking for a year, and I'm a month away from making it. And making it sounds terrible, but
no, I get it.
But it's, I was inspired by some of these Atlanta artists that were doing like heavy music. But they quit drinking. They're like, I have no use for it. And they still rock. They still party. They just don't drink. And
a lot of them are nerds. A lot of them play Magic the Gathering. A lot of them play D&D. A lot of them love like RPG video games. Like they would much rather spend their time doing that kind of stuff. And I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what a great time to encourage it as a parent.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I don't think we had that, but it was probably a little more dangerous.
Yes.
Back, at least I'm about to turn 50, but so back when I was a teenager, it was still dangerous.
Yeah, same. No, for sure. I think if it was still like that, like it was in like the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I would be near as encouraging of him to, especially with these local artists. Like I know that they are going to take care of him and protect him, and I don't even worry about it,
Yeah.
But if it was the sex, drugs, and rock and roll era, I don't know. Like the what's his name? Oh my gosh, I just got his book, the one that did his the Almost Famous story. Oh my gosh, I can't believe
Stone, the writer.
Starts with I think his initials are CC.
Cameron.
Yes.
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah, Cameron Crowe, right? Is that right? That sounds right. Yeah, like him just going with these bands and traveling with them when they're like just all crazy. I like to think I'm a cool mom. I don't think I'm that cool of a mom. I'm a helicopter mom that definitely is more worried about my child's safety than than that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
very different these days of where I don't stress about those things.
Well,
But
that
my
was
kid's about as straight edge as it gets too. Like he's school oriented and music oriented.
we could probably talk about that forever too, because I think that's just it's such a positive development that I I did not see coming with youth. You know,
Mhm.
they I think they're just more mature.
Totally. Like, what is in this water? How did they end up maturing over us, right?
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see. I think it's great. And how long have you been doing this?
Interview wise, I want to say like 4 years, maybe 5. Overall 6 or 7. I honestly am not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. I have different favorites for different reasons.
Mhm.
Stevic made me laugh a lot. Um, Billy Howardell from A Perfect Circle really. That one was a really personal one for me because the last A Perfect Circle album was a very emotional album. We were losing a friend during that time, and that was kind of our soundtrack to that. And so there's a lot of emotions with that album. Plus, it's just a beautiful album. So talking to him was, and plus me and him like kind of think the same, and so it's almost weird going back and listening to it because it's like we're on a different, like almost a different dimension, like we're both like over here and I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder if the listeners have any idea what the hell we're talking about. But in the moment we knew what we were talking about. So it was an interesting one.
I do transcendental meditation, and I know he practices
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Um,
And we talked about that yet.
oh, that's cool. I'll have to go back and watch that. And another thing, are you talking about the album with So Long? Thanks for all the fish.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm planning this 50th birthday, and I want to end. So we're gonna have bands, and I want to sing that the last.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
it's a
pretty
cool song. It's a
That's
super
so
cool
awesome.
song.
It's like
Yeah.
coffee, and it's dark, but
It's so
it has
dark.
a happy tone.
Yeah, right? You're like, oh, no, you're having a good time. And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, no, we're not.
Yeah, mushroom cloud confetti.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a intense song, but it's an awesome one.
But you guys connected on a level.
We did. It was really, really cool. And that one was a phone one. But I really felt a strong connection with him. Like so much so that, that energy exchange of where you're just like, that was almost intense.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with him. So that one was really cool for that. Brendan Small from Death Clock and the creator of Metalocalypse was fun because he was just funny. And super just interesting, right? Of course. Del Crover from the Melvins cracked me up. He was hilarious. He was a lot of fun. Jeffrey Nothing, which is one of the newer ones that I did, that was one of the co-creators of Mushroom Head. He was, I really enjoyed speaking with him. He is just a very genuine, they're all pretty genuine, but it was genuine on a different level. Troy obviously was fun.
We're gonna pop all these up as you talk about, so people can go back and watch them. I'm definitely gonna watch them now.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
But
you're naming the hit list, the Neeka's finest.
Well, and these are just personally, like my most viewed one is Glenn Benton from Deicide. And what's super funny about that is sometimes I'll get asked, hey, will you interview these people? Usually I just get the promos and I'll ask, hey, are they doing interviews?
Yeah.
Glenn Benton was one of them I was asked to do. I didn't listen to Deicide. I had heard he was not a very nice dude, so I was really, really nervous. Mm-hmm. We laughed our butts off. He is so much fun, and he's the one that I have the most views with. Bobby Blitz from Overkill. I have, and he was super fun too. But I have a lot of views with him. For me, I'm a small channel. Kip Winger, Mike Tramp, like some of these 80s dudes, have a lot of views.
I think it's your personality. I think you probably are disarming, and
I hope so.
Yeah, take the credit. Come on, Neeka.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that can go to it, of course, but I hope that's part of it. I try to make them fun. Yeah. Blackstone Cherry, Chris. I'm a big Blackstone Cherry fan from like the beginning. I haven't listened to a lot of their newer stuff, because they went a little bit more country rock or like pop rock. I don't know. They went a different route. Where in the beginning they were more of like a soulful metal rock,
Yeah.
But he was a big deal for me because I just loved those first two albums. I still listen to him a lot, and he's such a personable, sweet dude. So that one was a fun one. But yeah, I've done so freaking many. It's hard to.
Let me ask you this: who's your dream interview that you haven't gotten yet?
Mike Patton. I would probably just like freeze though and cry. I would be terrified because I know he is one of those personalities too, of where it can go really well or really bad.
Yeah.
But he's my white whale for sure.
I'm sure he would be generous with you, but I get it. But, I know so many people. When Brent Hines was alive, I know a lot of his like really close friends, and there was a temptation there.
Oh yeah.
To ask, to kind of be like, hey man, can you give a nudge? I didn't do it because I don't want to be that friend, but
right.
But I also was terrified. I would be terrified to interview him.
Because he was kind of a wild card of a personality too. So you didn't really necessarily know what you were going to get with him.
Well, and I think it was kind of what you were alluding to with Mike Patton. I think I would fan out a little bit, and I think he would have hated that.
Right. Right. He just wants.
And I don't know if I could control it.
Yeah. No, that's legit. Like there are some people, like I don't really get like nervous or like starstruck or whatever anymore, but there's definitely ones that still like are like, could I maintain my composure? Could I like be calm, cool, and collected, or would I be like
That's where those written out questions, I guess, will come in handy.
Oh my gosh, but then you don't want to be that guy either, of where you're like a boring interview,
Yeah, so one thing I definitely do not do, I may do it with a caveat where I'll set it up and say, hey, look, because this is going on right now, can I just get this question out of the way, and then I just want to go wherever this goes. But typically I don't want to ask typical questions. Like I want to ask what no one's asking. I want to keep it interesting for them. I feel it's all for them. I think that's, and I feel like that's, it sounds like your attitude too. Like,
yes,
it's all, I want them happy. Like if they say something stupid, like, you want me to cut that out, or not stupid, but something they said, hey, maybe I shouldn't have said that or gave that away or whatever.
Do that a few times. I actually had someone just the other day reach out to me, and they were like, I was not supposed to say that. I wasn't supposed, because it's not knowledge that's supposed to be known yet. Well, and they were just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I was like, dude, this happens all the time. It's totally fine. I will cut it out. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Yeah. I have not had that happen. I always tell them right before. It's like when I hit record, like, hey, I'm hitting record right now, but just this is for you.
Yeah.
If you have any issues, just let me know. It goes through an editing process. We'll take it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes no one's ever played that card at all. But sometimes we'll be like, you know what? They didn't look real good right there. That wasn't a good look for them. Let's take that out.
That's nice. That's nice that you're going through with that lens as well.
Yeah, and the editor I work with, Simon, he's got a good eye for that stuff. He's very sensitive in a very good way for that stuff. But so Mike Patton, who else? Anybody else on that dream list?
Maynard James Keenan, even though I'm not a huge Tool fan, I like them. Pussifer is probably my favorite, and I do love A Perfect Circle. I'm not like Maynard. I'm not like a Maynard person like people can be. But I still think he would be super interesting to talk to. I would love to pick his brain because I think he's got a really, really brilliant mind. So he's one that would be pretty high up there. I mean, some like Will Ramos, of course, someone like him would be really cool.
Where do people find your interviews? Of course, I'm going to put the link anyway, but
yeah. So, YouTube, obviously the website metalnation.com. I have Facebook Metal Nation account, but I don't always put them on there because it just doesn't get a lot of traction. Those pages are, I have my Instagram, which is Neeka Zep, because they never had a Metal Nation one, and I was already sharing so much of the Metal Nation stuff on my page that I just kept to my I just use it for Metal Nation. I don't really use it for anything else. So
that's an interesting topic, because I don't know. I've asked myself the same question, or do I want to start a different page for this? And I don't think it would. I hate the idea. I did it once before for another project that I started, and you send out to all your friends, and you're like, please like this page or whatever. Please follow this page. I didn't really feel like doing that for some reason.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I feel like all this is personal to me. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in it, and it's all personal.
Mm-hmm.
And even this embroidery stuff, it's
so exciting.
I want to. Do I start a website or something? I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna. It's all gonna be me.
Yeah.
And if people get sick of me posting about it, then I guess they can unfriend me or something.
All right. I don't know how much it would cost to have a website, but if it does well, which I assume it's going to, because it's a brilliant idea, it might be worth like putting up a little website about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We have a website too called radicalmetal.com. It's funny because there's a merch store on there.
Oh, there you go.
For Radical, but it's for we use I don't even know what you call it, like a service provider where you can get like water bottles or whatever, and they'll put the Radical Metal logo. I don't have this on there. And in fact, one of the reasons I got an embroidery machine, it's a really small reason for a huge purchase, but one of my friends, he's like, hey, I want to get a Radical Metal hat. They're not up there anymore. And I looked on the site, they took it down.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, why did you take it down? And then 6 months later, they say, oh, we put it back up. Sorry. I'm like, this is terrible.
Oh, geez.
And I didn't like dealing with them. So I'm like, I'm just going to make my own hats, darn it. And then it turned into, all this stuff. But
so cool. Well, it's such a cool idea. I love it so much. It's been interesting. I've seen a lot of people get like his tattoo on them, like tattooed on them, So I love this idea of where, someone who obviously doesn't want to go that gung-ho is still able to support him and show their love for him while not having to do the ink part of it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. It's been a little bit of a mixed bag. First, I should say it's what was my wife's idea, which she reminded me yesterday. I'm like, oh yeah, it was your idea. She gets all the credit. But it's sort of mixed feelings out there, I think. I've definitely gotten pushback from some people.
Really?
Well, they think they thought it was maybe it was a money grab. I've been called by one person bootleg merch.
Oh my gosh.
And I look at, I don't see it. I just don't see it that way. I see it as fan art. These it took a lot of like careful design, and I mean the tattoo's the tattoo, but like what part of it? And then I have to send it to a digitizer, and then they're artists, these digitizers. And then for it to even translate to a hat, or a beanie, you know, that was a gamble, and
Yeah.
it worked really well. So I don't agree with those people, but I
No.
also understand it's a sensitive subject because, you know, he's such a sacred
Mhm.
voice to me, but to every fan
Mhm.
that you mess with it. So, you know, you're probably going to get some pushback here and there.
Right. Right. Well, and I mean, that just means it's getting its reach, right? Because anytime you have a lot of people that are seeing what you're doing, you're going to have those people. It's just the way the world is.
Yeah, and I'm not making any money. I'm in the red.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
I'm totally negative money on this, but
Yeah.
it's been so much fun, and it's for what you just said. You know, someone can represent Brent Hines and not
Mhm.
have to get the tattoo.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, share with people, you know,
Mhm.
publicly in what they wear, how much he means to them. So,
Well, and it can be a conversation piece if someone's like, okay, well, what is that? What does that mean? And then you can
what is that
introduce people,
sick design on
introduce,
your hat, bro?
right? Introduce people to the unknown band Mastodon.
Yeah, Mastodon's funny though, right? Because they're multiple. I think 2 Grammys. Do they won two? Maybe 1 Grammy. I can't remember.
I know one for sure.
Yeah, but people still don't. They're not like a Metallica or a
Right.
Slayer or something.
Yeah, people outside of metal probably
Outside of metal.
know who they are.
If you're
Yeah.
in metal, you know who they are. But
Yeah.
well, Nika, what should I have asked you that I haven't asked you yet? Did you ever ask that question?
I did it first. I do with some of the locals just because I'm like, I don't know it's harder to find information on them. And so I'm like, is there stuff that you're wanting to promote that I don't know about, you know?
You know what I find as you ponder that with the more local bands. For me, I say local, but I'm not in Atlanta, but I focus on the Atlanta scene as I've shared with you. But sometimes I'll interview someone and they're not used to giving interviews at all. So
Yeah.
they
It gets
just
more
don't.
awkward.
Yeah. And so they have no idea. They're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you covered it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's totally a big difference between people that you can tell are used to this is a run of the mill, this is what they do, to people that are like, I have no idea what to say because I have no idea what I'm doing. And then you're trying to guide them. It's been interesting with the local bands. I actually have had a really, really positive success this last run. With the first band, it was a little bit awkward. But I think it was probably me as well. And it was a bunch of them. We were all Brady bunched on there and we were all talking over each other. But this last run that I've been doing has been a lot more natural. And the guys have been fantastic about being more natural and comfortable. And so I think I'm learning this local thing a little bit better because you can tell a huge difference between who's used to it and who's not. And
Yeah.
that back to Gene Hoglan, he does so many interviews and he's one that I was asked to do. Him and Brennan Small were ones that I asked, hey, will you interview these guys? I'm like, will I interview Brennan Small? I
Mhm.
guess so, like, why are you asking me?
Yeah.
But absolutely. But like with Gene Hoglan, he's been asked the same questions 38,000 times that he just automatically went into this is the answer mode. And I wanted to do like what you said earlier, where
Yeah.
you want to make it interesting for them. You want to talk about things that other people haven't asked about or talked about. And I didn't get a chance to do that. And so by the end of it, I was kind of bummed. Like I was like, I feel like that was a boring interview for him. I feel like it's going to be a boring interview for the people watching it because they've seen him talk about the same stuff a
Yeah.
billion times,
Yeah.
That one was kind of a bummer for me, even though he's fantastic, so wonderful, such a icon.
Have you ever done them in person?
No, I was gonna weirdly Killswitch Engage was the first one I was going to, which is such a huge one. Plus, I'm a huge fan. But it didn't end up working out, and I'm not really set up for that. So I need to figure out how to set myself up for that because I have had a few ask if I can do that. And I'm just always like, I don't know how to set up for that.
Yeah, no, and I don't know either. I did do one. This band High Fade. I don't know if you've seen them on the internet. They're funky, super funky band. They're huge metal heads, but they play and they kind of play with it a little bit on stage. But they do mostly funky stuff. They're insanely good. But they were coming to DC, and I was pinging them. I was like, hey. I really want to come interview. And they're super cool. But so this is how I was equipped. I just brought my wife. I have a little stabilizer for my iPhone, and then my wife was holding that while I had this tiny itty bitty mic that was like one of those remote mics. You plug it into the phone.
Yeah.
Itty bitty. And it works, but it was tough. I remember the audio. I was talking about Simon, the editor. He was getting so frustrated because some were really loud and some of them were really quiet. And this is just it's very easy to virtually. It's just easier to do because a lot of those settings are kind of in place. Yeah. But I mean, I'm doing a live interview. This band Palaces. It's we're going to interview them down in Atlanta. Bill Kelleher is producing and plays on it. But I was like, I can't do this very well. I'm not good at this. So I ended up hiring someone to do the film and the audio because I'm too afraid to mess it up.
Right? Yeah, especially when it comes to a band like that, you definitely want it to come across well. So yeah.
That's my tiny little mic.
All right.
Yeah, I was just curious because that's a challenge for me too.
Yeah, I think people are just like, well, yeah, you just do it, and you're like, you don't understand. You don't just do it when it comes to that kind of stuff. There's a whole mess of things that not like video. Yeah, sure, you can use your phone, but audio becomes a whole other thing.
Yeah, this guy Raheem, he's like, well, how do you want it? And he's using all these terms because he's the guy doing it. And I had no idea what he was talking about. This is exactly why I need you. But you have all these terms for the mic, that's up above and boom, boom. Maybe
yeah, I think that's what they're called.
But cool. Well, do you have any questions for me? You don't need to ask me anything, but
yeah. Well, we talked about the embroidery and what you're doing as far as that, which is what I was definitely the most super interested in because that's been the big new thing, and I just love that you're doing it.
So do I have your blessing to do merch, Roy?
I think you totally should. Yes.
Merman, Troyman.
I think you absolutely should. I think it's a great idea. My
fear is that. One of my Brent designs was with an artist. I got his permission, my fear is this artist is going to come out of hiding and get mad at me.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if it because with the Mastodon crowd, you never know. It could become a big thing. And then you're like, well, you didn't credit yourself on it. So no, I think
I'll give
awesome.
You all the $2 I make on the product. Yeah, I think that'd be funny. Well, cool, Neeka. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and especially such short notice.
No, thank you. This is easy on this end, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna share all your stuff. We'll put all those. I think it'll be great because that's what I want to do. Is that all those interviews you mentioned? I'm going to go back and watch them. So I think that will be fun for people who watch this too. Well, if they're like me, which who knows. If anytime you want to collab or anything, if that ever is something that sounds like fun to you, please let me know. I would love to.
Yeah, same. Yeah, let me know what ideas you have. I mean, we could even like do a co-interview someone too. If there's someone that you're really interested in that I have coming up, maybe we can like tag team them and just kind of converse beforehand to see what we want to talk about and stuff, since we do have the same interview style.
You mean like Kyle Shutt?
Oh yeah, actually, I just texted him yesterday about doing another one because I'm like, you guys are back and going again. Like, let's do another one. I think I've done 3 or 4 with him before, but
I
yeah,
hope he's not I hope he's not creeped out by me. Kyle, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I've pinged you before. It's just because I love you, man, and I just want to talk to you.
he's a cool cat for sure. He's a good dude.
Dude, and the sword is just rules. The sword
Oh my gosh.
rules.
So I'm wearing my sword shirt or one of them
Oh,
right now.
nice. Yeah, I love his solo stuff. I was following him when he
Yes.
was doing the solo stuff and his
And Doom
videos.
Side of the
So funny.
Moon, he's so
Yeah,
funny. Yeah. Doom Side of the Moon, he does
yes.
too. Yeah, the Pink Floyd kind of Doom cover band, which just blows me away.
I've even like watched him and I'm jealous a little bit. I'm like, what is he tuned into to come up with these hilarious ideas? I want that. I want
Right.
that skill.
Yes. Yeah. He's just naturally, yeah, kind of that goofy dude. He's got 2 little ones that I'm sure help with bringing out some more of that goofiness too, but yeah, that's just who he is. He's pretty fun.
That's awesome. All right, Neeka. Well, hey, I hope you have a great day and thanks
You
again for doing
too.
this.
Thank you, Jesse. I super appreciate it. And yeah, let's keep in contact and see what we can come up with.